Hey, Joe Dwyer here, and I welcome you back for the third and final session on our recognition and affirming module and the accountability and importance of this area of life. We have spoken in our prior two sessions about how we can recognize and affirm ourselves with positive self-talk, with not comparing ourselves to others, and then we have had a good session on how we recognize and affirm others and truly get to a mindset that matches our heart, where we really are recognizing and appreciating everyone for who they are. Today, we will talk in our final session about how we can really put this into practice. And we will now, for the first time, and it's our last session on this module of Accountability Matters, but we will talk about dog training. Yes, dogs have taught us throughout our time together. Now we're going to talk about how we train dogs. And as a person with dog training background, I do know something about it, and I wanted to share with you the concepts of positive reinforcement. Now, there are many different theories on dog training. I have to say that in my journey and travels, I have seen that positive reinforcement is probably the one that's most popular. And I submit, and I think others would agree with me, and maybe the majority, I would think so, would say that it is the most effective. And in fact, what positive reinforcement is all about is catching the dog doing something right. And when they're doing the right thing, reward them at that moment. Give them no reward for doing the wrong thing, but yes, catch them doing the right thing. Make sure you are aware of it. Make sure you are doing it consistently and with sincerity. And in fact, what will happen is the dog will respond. The dog will say, hey, I want this acknowledgement, this recognition, and I only get it when I'm doing A, B, and C, the right thing. When I'm not, all of a sudden, I'm not getting that any attention or recognition. And the dog programs their mind to doing the right thing more often to get what they really want, which is what we want too, isn't it? And the fallacy here is that you must give the dog a treat. It's not the case. The dog ultimately responds to attention, positive attention, recognition, and affection even more than treats. This does in fact happen when you are consistent and sincere about it. Similarly, we humans are thought to only respond to financial rewards. That too has proven to be not the case. We humans respond to positive recognition when we're doing something right, and it inspires us to continue to do it. Now, the last thing I want to do is to criticize any institution, education especially. I believe that there's a lot of good that goes on in education. But I have noticed, and I know that this is kind of a trend, and I understand sometimes the reason why, students are spent a lot more time on those things that they are not good at. And they are usually not recognized enough for the positive things that they do. So the student who is doing extremely well in history will hear far less comments, anything at all, versus that if they're struggling in mathematics, they will hear a whole lot more about that. And I understand, again, some of the reasons for this. But I will tell you that yesterday, just yesterday, I had the pleasure of witnessing a teacher in action from the beginning of a class until the end. And this gentleman truly did an exceptional job with balancing what they were required to do, what they needed to do better, but recognizing them for the positive that they were doing. And this balance was done with an extreme effectiveness, and the students responded to it. And interestingly, some of the students I had seen earlier in the day in other places where I was subbing that day, and they were students who were in trouble. And yet in this class, with the balance that was put out there, it wasn't the case. And let me just tell you, without going too much into it, that what struck me was each class, but this one specifically, he started with, "Good afternoon, everyone. How are you today?" And every single student responded, "Good afternoon," to him, said his name, responded with how they were doing, and there was a dialogue. What a unique, interesting thing. And I thought to myself, we are constantly saying, oh, these students, they just don't know how to communicate anymore. Technology, cell phones. Well, they do when it is brought in a context where a balance of positive reinforcement is introduced. And I saw it with my own eyes and heard it with my own ears yesterday. And I have to tell you, I said to myself, what an incredible coincidence, and positive one, in fact, because it was the topic of this session today. It is possible. It truly is. But it does take consistency. This man starts every class this way. We, if we are looking to recognize and affirm ourselves or someone else, we need to be consistent too, every single day, with a mix of positive reinforcement and, yes, then accountability for what we need to work on. And that mixture and that blend is about the most powerful compound that we can have in our life. Being a chemistry person from college days, if you are able to combine these two things effectively into the strongest compound possible and implement it into life, we will see not only our own peace and prosperity, but we can see it in others as well. And of course, yes, as I started out explaining that this is a dog training mentality, the dogs, in fact, do teach us, because their response to this is something that should inspire us and motivate us to do the same, again, with self and with others. So I say to you that we have had an incredible journey. We have covered so many topics that are so strongly related to accountability. We have journeyed through communication, through conflict, through working and playing with others. And as we have come to the conclusion on this recognition and affirming section, I really want to tell you how important it is to continue on with these lessons. And as I will tell you in our closing video, there are ways that we can do that together. But I urge you to also do it on your own. Continue down this journey every day. See the beauty in it. See the effectiveness in it. And see, yes, as we started out saying, see the peace that can overcome your heart and the productivity that will go up in all areas of your life, professional and personal. The dogs have been our greatest teacher, and they continue and will continue to do so. So, of course, I want to say that this is what I would love for you to get out and spread like a campaign like no other. That these dogs are so worthy of our love, of our attention, of our admiration. And that, yes, we should be saving them for all the right reasons. But when we save more and learn lessons as we have shared in this time together, then so many more can be saved and so many more people will as well. With that, I say thank you. With that, I say this is not the end. We will continue on with each other, and you will hear more about that in my closing video. At this point, I say thank you so much. Please continue to share these great lessons with everyone, and have a wonderful, affirming day. Take care.